So, audience testing on TikTok. This is everything you need to know about audience testing, how to leverage different pockets of audiences to scale effectively on TikTok. I've heard so many people have this notion that it's very hard to scale on TikTok. You can do that. It might be that you don't have the right audience to scale through that. Most people just do audience testing very wrong. They have, some experience with maybe Facebook, and they just try to translate what they have actually learned already onto TikTok, and things are a bit different here. So I'm going to explain everything how to go about audience testing, different audiences that might be the best to actually test, where to kill an ad, where to kill an audience, how to optimize afterwards, as well as some live results from some of the other accounts, just to see how this plays out in real time, basically. So before actually going into the exact specifics, I want to mention where exactly would be the ideal position for you to do the audience testing. Audience testing is the phase 3 of the whole system that I go about. It has 4 phases. I'll probably do each video, maybe like in a big video, break it down each one of them, and maybe compiling all this information into one video. But just to make it rather direct here, phase 3 is after you've actually done your phase 1, which probably like message testing. And then you do some creative testing, and then you're in the position to do audience testing. So you should be thinking of doing audience testing and looking to scale once you already have found a few winning creatives and a few winning messaging / angles to play with. Do not go and audience test from the first couple of weeks and the first initial ad spend in the account. You should not do that. There's a big disclaimer. If this is the way that a lot of people actually do burn budgets, you try to rush into scale, into audience testing and stuff, you should have to lay a solid foundation so far. You have found a few winning creatives and you're around now and about ready to scale and boost all these winning elements. So as you can see, we are in phase 3 and phase 4. This this go together. Now obviously all phases go together, and each one has each unique piece in the whole puzzle, in a sense. So the phase 3 is audience testing. We are laying the foundations for scaling. We are identifying some winning audiences to then scale. Phase 4 is the scaling campaigns, when we want to maximize the winning ads that we already identified and keep the account stable. We'll make another video for that. It might be the next video, so you can have a good procedure on that. I think I jumped the first 2 phases. I just thought I would do some audience testing in this video, because I had some specific issues on my accounts, and it would be good to actually refresh some of the stuff that I've actually learned as well. So just really direct here. We are in phase 3 audience testing, and here what we're actually trying to achieve is very important to really have clear goals of what's the whole goal behind audience testing. And okay, you could say like that is obviously finding winning audiences, but you really need to find, and you really need to have a good understanding, I think, of the top level view of how things work out. So of course we're doing to identify winning audiences for scaling campaign. We're gonna have a separate campaign, scaling campaign. We are pushing all the winning elements from all the different phases that from the creative testing, the message testing, and the audience testing. We're pushing a lot of budget into scaling campaigns, improving concept, and having 100% clarity of what to work. This is how you scale effectively in any platform, in my opinion. This is one of the first things that I would wish coming into this, and when I was starting out as a media buyer, actually managing ads and ad accounts, to really have that as a very foundational structured video or concept to me, having 100% clarity of what to work and putting all the winning pieces together to really scale it. That sounds a bit common sense, but it really I have seen very few people actually approaching the whole thing. But without digressing anymore, obviously keep it separate from scaling. We need to have clarity of what to work. We need to have scaling, audience testing, creative testing, each in different campaigns / phases, so we can have clarity. Do not lump everything together into one campaign, because I did the mistake. It makes it hard to keep a very organized way to read data and spot trends, in a sense. Now, this is the beginning of initial scaling. This is when we, as I said, we have some winning pieces of file creative ready to go, and we're just looking to scale. So we need to identify a few winning audiences that will help us scale and push budgets. Now, A big thing here is to keep the audience big enough for scaling. So many people try to go about and test the audiences that are, low six figure in audience size, or even high six figure in audience size. Ideally, you should be having, of course, it will depend on your target location, but you should have at least like the broad identification in ad level that TikTok actually indicates. That will be around 10 to 15 million placed. Of course, I said depending your target location, or obviously if you're targeting the US compared to some other country, maybe locally, it might be like the whole population that will be 50 million, but again, it should be enough broad audiences that we can actually scale into it. So the setup, we need to have proven ads to unproven audiences. I like to use ABO in general, even at scaling, which is going to be on the other video that I'm going to be making. Haven't seen CBO just working very well on TikTok. It might just be me, but constantly ABO, trying to have control over my budget and really straight by isolating each variable to really have a clear way to scale things. So have proven audience to unproven audiences, proven ads to unproven audience, I'm going to start with standard broad audiences, and some of the two setups that I actually choose is to, of course, the goal is find one winning audience. We're going to test 3 to 5 proven creatives, again without proven copy headline that you have actually seen. Do not add any other variables, just have 3 to 5 proven creatives. And the other way that you can do that is find again one new winning audience. We test one proven creative, again with proven copy and headline. This works by the single ad variable, as I said, testing. And of course, if we have one creative, we isolating even more the variables rather than have 3 to 5 creatives, because you will see different results if you do have 3 ads under one ad set. So both work, and it really up for you. If you have one winning creative that you really know that it's really pressing in that account, I'll just pivot to one proven creative, because you just keep things more streamlined in a sense. So we want to set the budget at CPA or 2 times CPA to ensure that you speed up the data collection and identify winning audiences faster, not faster. Aim to get at least 1 conversion a day. Of course, it will depend on your budget level. And again, aim also, around that, aim to test 3 to 4 audiences at one time, just again to speed up the whole scaling phase as well. So what I'm saying, say the budget at CPA level, for example, let's say you have a product that the CPA is $70, the average CPA at least, just set at least at $70 daily budget. So you would aim to get 1 conversion a day. Of course, if it goes without saying, if you have the budget and you're pretty confident about the creatives under it, and you have to identify things much faster, if you double the spend, for example, you put 2 times CPA, you put $140, you're gonna of course constrain the whole amount of time that it takes for you to get that data and make the decision faster. And that goes without saying that you're gonna be able to scale faster in a sense. Of course, up to you and up to where you are comfortable with your current budget that you actually have to play around with. So again, aim to test 3 to 4 audiences at one time. And let me actually go into the best audiences to try. Again, keep things as broad as possible. As I said, broad might be some demo targeting depending on your product. So female to 25 to 44 or something like that. This is the broad, it has no target, no interest targeting. Second best audience, you have some interest targeting. Again, broad interest targeting, that can be just single interest targeting, or it can be just stacked together some categories of interest. Just make sure you have just some kind of categorization. Don't put like apparel and accessories together with vehicles and transportation or any other things that do lump together and don't make sense. So you have an idea of which interest under one category work the best, so you can really try identifying scale faster. And some other things is some lookalikes that are actually pretty broad. 10% for example buyer list, actually not 10% buyer list, you cannot do percentages on TikTok, although that might be on data, just to be clear. Again, the whole thing behind this point is you have broad lookalikes. It can be lookalikes of advertisers or buyers and everything. Some other things can be followers of creators, obviously that is specific to each industry, a specific niche, but try to have this should be broad enough all the photos, that have interacted with, certain creators in your niche of your product. Now, we need to set very clear kill and win points. I did that mistake myself. When you don't have really some clear indications, you kill an ad group, you really don't have anything to measure, you much more susceptible to actually go out and burn budget and burn dollars. So we need to be as efficient as possible with our budget, and we need to set clear winning points and kill points of what we identify as a winning audience and as a loser audience, in a sense, loser, and just a not performing audience. So we have that clarity to go out and say, okay, if that worked, that didn't work as well. Now, the kill point that I really would like to have, obviously, as you can imagine, it will be dependent on the product, AOV, industry, etc. But as a broad guideline with benchmarks, I like to kill things at 3 to 5 times CPA spent, of course, on ad group level, so collective of the results of each ad. And 1.5 to 3 times on ad level. So basically, if they have spent like 3 times the CPA, I will kill them for sure. It will depend again, as I said, on the AOV. Obviously, the higher the AOV, you would aim to be on the lower end of that spectrum, just to keep things and not to overspending and stuff. So the winners, for me, a winner is an ad group or ad set that has produced 10 conversions actually at CPA or at around CPA. That for me is a winning audience. And of course, if, for example, an audience that had a good feel that it will do well, but after 2 or 3 days it really doesn't, and I have killed that because it has spent 3 times, let's say, the CPA spend, in a sense. There are times that I will retest audience, just really direct, but only if I feel like the audience could be a very winning audience, in a sense. So let me actually touch on the optimization and next steps. Now, here are some of the things that you need to do after you have launched the ads, the whole audience testing phase. You need to protect our web, say, by killing an underperforming ad set. As I said early, 2 to 5 times CPA. As I said here, I was made like 3. Again, it can be 2. It really depends on your whole tolerance and what you have seen the account perform the best as optimizing. Depends on your budget level. So I would love to give you okay, I do this optimization at 3 times the CPA, but it doesn't work like that. Just rather direct. So if an ad set actually clears the killing point, optimize the ad level next. That goes without saying. Obviously, if the ad set it does very well after you have spent 3 times CPA, just go on the ad level and do some optimization and people must spend to the winning ads. Kill any underperforming ads that are not hitting KPIs, of course. Find the best of the best winning audiences, move it to your scaling campaign at 3x to 5x CPA of the budget. So after I've identified some of the winning ads, they have crossed that winning point that we have identified, I like to promote into a separate scaling campaign that we are going to be going specifics into the next video, which around 3x to 5x CPA. Really make sure that we get out of the learning phase. And also I like to increase budget by 20% on those winning audiences on the audience testing campaign. So I increase both vertically on that audience testing campaign, as well as have a separate campaign that we further just only use for scaling, in a sense. And lastly, we typically, when you get 10 conversions, just to give like a guidelines where things in the ad account should look like, you should be looking at least 10,000 impressions and around 200 plus link clicks. Of course, they will be varied by your CPMs level and your CPCs. So again, don't take it with a grain of salt. Just to give you a rough guideline of how things might look like, and that you should have enough data to make some decisions after that. So we have to jump into an ad account here. This is phase 3, as I say, audience testing. I have tested a bunch of different audiences. As you can see, most of them will be around $70 to $80 because this is the CPA level of that product. And as you can see, nothing really fancy here, nothing like a trick. It's just basically The audience testing, different audiences, as I say, is more like stacks, single interest targeting, broad audience, of course, is already scaled up in the scaling campaign. Just some different times, you can see some of the top interest. As you can see, majority is a stack, interest stack. You can play around with some hashtags, some follow the creators, really just try to keep things broad. And as you can see, some of the budgets I really scaled up by the 20% rule, so I increased 20% every couple, 3 days in this campaign as well in the scaling campaign. So that's pretty much it. Thanks a lot for watching this video. If you want any more help, probably have some links in the description that you might want to connect with me, or leave any comment in this on this video. Really appreciate watching all the way through. I hope it helped a bit in your whole procedure to actually scale your account, and see you in the next one. Have a great day, guys.